President Donald J. Trump. Now, if you haven't heard, I was on Laura Trump's show, My View, on Fox this past weekend. Laura is a Trump who still believes in freedom of speech because her father-in-law, the 47th president of the United States of America, did not take too kindly to some things I had to say. Trump's big, beautiful bill is going to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. Okay, the other issue I said on My View with Laura's Trump is I believe traditional conservatives are quietly staging a political coup to take their party back from MAGA. Conspiracy theory I have, it just feels like traditional conservatives who lost the party to Trump could use this opportunity to get it back because the MAGA base wouldn't be upset at all if they impeached Trump and voted to remove him because he's in the Epstein files. Trump didn't like any of that, so he replied with a long-ass post on Truth Social. Now, the personal insults, I don't care. He called me a sleazebag. I looked up the definition of sleazebag. Says it's a disgusting or despicable person. Depending on who you ask, that may apply to me.
In our video about Trump and Charlemagne, we showed you the wild Truth Social rant where Donald Trump called Charlamagne Tha God a racist sleazebag and a low IQ individual, all because Charlemagne called out MAGA politics and mentioned Epstein on Lara Trump's show. Well, Charlemagne just responded, and he's not holding back. On The Breakfast Club, he gave Trump the ultimate clapback, donkey of the day. And trust me, the way he breaks it down is straight savage. Charlemagne didn't respond with a Twitter post or a rant. He used his signature platform to do what he does best, call out BS with humor, receipts, and hard facts. He didn't just defend himself. He called it the hypocrisy, the ego, and what he sees as Trump's obsession with control. In this video, we show you Charlemagne's full response with the donkey of the day moment, how he claps back without breaking a sweat, and why this isn't just about name-calling. It's about power, ego, and revenge. But before we get into the footage, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us grow, improve, and it helps for the algorithm. It also brings you even better videos, and it is free. And if you've got tips, thoughts, or things we can do better, drop them in the comments. We actually read them, and we'll listen, and if we able, reply to all your comments. Now, if you know Charlemagne, you know he doesn't just react. He puts you in that hot seat with a microphone and a message. And this time, he brought Donald Trump all the way into the stable and crowned him with one of the most legendary titles in hip-hop radio, Donkey of the Day. He didn't yell, he didn't curse, he just hit Trump where it hurts. Credibility, legacy, and ego. And the way he does it? Smooth, sharp, and straight to the point. Let's head to The Breakfast Club and see exactly how Charlemagne handled it. Let's roll the tape.
He's fired! President Donald J. Trump. Now, if you haven't heard, I was on Laura Trump's show, My View, on Fox this past weekend. Drop one of the clues bombs for Laura Trump. She's been a guest on Breakfast Club before, so I had no problem showing up to her program. You know, I'm one of those silly rabbits who still believes in the First Amendment, okay, freedom of speech. Thankfully, Laura is a Trump who still believes in freedom of speech because her father-in-law, the 47th president of the United States of America, did not take too kindly to some things I had to say. Now,
how do you rate his presidency so far?
I wouldn't give it a good rating. You know,
why not?
Simply because, you know, the least of us are still being impacted the worst. Like when you look at something like, you know, the big beautiful bill, that's something that, you know, I'm going to benefit from because of the tax bracket that I'm in. But, you know, there's going to be so many people that's hurt by that bill. And, you know, anything that takes away Medicaid from people and is going to put people in a worse financial situation than, you know, they were previously in, I'm not for it.
I mean, where is the lie? Trump's big, beautiful bill is going to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. Okay, the other issue I said on My View with Laura's Trump is I believe traditional conservatives are quietly staging a political coup to take their party back from MAGA. I explained this to y'all a couple of weeks ago.
Traditional conservatives are going to take the Republican Party back. I think there's a political coup going on right now in the Republican Party that people aren't paying attention to. This Epstein thing is going to be a way for traditional conservatives to take their party back. I think that they know this is the issue that has gotten the base riled up. The MAGA base isn't letting this issue go, and for the first time, they know they can probably take their party back and not piss off the MAGA base. I think they're going to do that.
Just a conspiracy theory I have. It just feels like traditional conservatives who lost the party to Trump could use this opportunity to get it back because the MAGA base wouldn't be upset at all if they impeached Trump and voted to remove him because he's in the Epstein files. Trump didn't like any of that, so he replied with a long-ass post on Truth Social.
The very wonderful and talented Laura Trump, whose show is a big rating success, put racist sleazebag Charlamagne Tha God. Why is he allowed to use the word God when describing himself? Can anyone imagine the uproar there would be if I used that nickname?
We'll study your lessons.
He's a low IQ individual, has no idea what words are coming out of his mouth, and knows nothing about me or what I've done. Like just ending 5 wars, including a 31-year bloodbath between Republic of the Congo and Rwanda, where 7 million people have died and there was no end in sight. He did not know that. Or India and Pakistan, or wiping out Iran's nuclear capabilities, or closing the horrendous open border, or creating the greatest economy where prices and inflation have come way down, and where stupid and corrupt Joe Biden set the record for doing the worst job as president ever. But this dope Charlemagne would vote for Sleepy Joe or Kamala? ? Remember, 1 year ago, our country was dead, and now it's the hottest, and he capitalized hottest, country anywhere in the world. MAGA.
Now, the personal insults, I don't care. He called me a sleazebag. I looked up the definition of sleazebag. Says it's a disgusting or despicable person. Depending on who you ask, that may apply to me. Okay, I personally prefer friendly neighborhood a-hole. He said I'm a low IQ individual. I don't know. I've never taken an IQ test. He said I have no idea what words are coming out of my mouth. Absolutely true. Okay, I've been surprising myself my whole life, like, damn, I actually said that? Now, let's get to your claims. He said I don't know anything about him ending 5 wars. Mr. President, nobody knew that, because it's not true. All right, there is zero evidence, nothing credible whatsoever that says President Trump played any role in ending the ongoing, keyword ongoing, conflict in the eastern DRC or in Rwanda. Okay, America has not brokered any major peace deal between the DRC and Rwanda during Trump's second term. And wiping out Iran's nuclear capabilities, you did pull off a significant strike, but it didn't eliminate Iran's nuclear capability. Saying you wiped it out is an overstatement, because according to reports, no enrichment facility was destroyed and Iran's nuclear threat is still very active, and some experts argue it's more dangerous now due to a lack of international oversight and the increased beef with Israel and the USA. Now, you also claim the borders were closed. Not closed, but you have tightened immigration policies and increased enforcement. You have definitely made the border harder to cross, but saying it's closed is false and ignores everyone coming over seeking legal asylum. By the way, I want border security. I just want you to keep your promise of deporting illegals and criminals. But since Homeland Security started to work to deport more people, okay, immigrants with legal status or no criminal history are being detained and deported too. That's not right. Okay, your family is always in fear.
Whose family you talking about?
Okay, all right, listen. My fellow Americans, listen. My fellow Americans, we are in a strange time right now. A time we have never seen, because authoritarian strategy is being used against anyone who speaks out against this administration. But that, along with his reaction to what I said on Laura Trump, shows how authoritarians will attempt to bully people into pushing false narratives. President Trump, do you realize the best way to get the headlines you want is to simply do a good job? Is to simply do right by all Americans? He called me a racist. I didn't mention race not one time on Laura Trump. I didn't bring up the fact that President Trump issued an executive order directing oversight of institutions like the Smithsonian to remove or suppress narratives about systemic racism in Black history. They want to reframe cultural memory to eliminate discussions of historical racial injustice. That, along with the termination of diversity and civil rights programs, are considered very racist by a lot of civil rights advocates. I didn't even bring that up. Okay, I was just talking to your base, letting your base know that you haven't kept the promises you made in regards to the economy. In fact, you've made things worse. It's actually hilarious to see you upset about the high unemployment rates when you let Elon Musk take a chainsaw to the federal government and fire a bunch of government workers earlier this year. You did that, President Trump, and now you're doing exactly what the Biden administration did, trying to convince America the economy is all good when it's not. Maybe for people in a certain tax bracket, but for majority of your constituents who aren't in the 1%, it's not all good. So you can hire a new labor statistics chief to lie about the numbers. It won't stop the reality of people being unemployed. Okay, you can tell falsehoods about inflation being down. It won't stop the reality of the price of consumer goods being high because of tariffs you implemented. So listen, President Trump, don't worry about Leonard. Okay, don't worry about Charlamagne Tha God. I know something I said hit a nerve and rattled you a little bit, but I don't want you rattled. I want you to end wars. Okay, I want you to keep the border secure. I want you to have the economy booming. Okay, I want all these things to be true. I am an American. I don't care who's in the White House. I want America to succeed. Okay, believe it or not, I'm rooting for you. but I need you focused. And right now, you're not focused, okay? We need you focused on two things: the economy and Epstein. All right, I need you to keep the promises of a great economy and the promises of transparency with the Epstein files. And I don't want us as a people to be distracted. Whenever you see Trump trying to deflect from what's important, keep him focused. Ask two simple questions. What about the economy? What about the Epstein files? Happy born day to President Barack Obama, and thank you for your attention to this matter. You see Trump trying to deflect from what's important, keep him focused. Ask two simple questions. What about the economy? What about the Epstein files? Go in his mentions, have pity parties all the time, and ask him those two things. Happy born day to President Barack Obama, and thank you for your attention to this matter. Please let Kathy Griffin give President Donald J. Trump the biggest hee-haw.
Please give this giant jar of mayo the biggest hee-haw.
That's what a racism we said. Biggest.
So what's up?
Oh my God.
What?
All right. Well, let's open up the phone lines. Let's see what the people have to say.
Yeah, this is Duku Entertainment calling in. And look, Charlamagne said what needed to be said. Trump throwing personal shots on Truth Social? That's not new. But Charlamagne didn't stoop down. He elevated it. He turned that shade into a segment and reminded folks why media with backbone still matters. Calling someone a donkey might sound funny, but it lands different when it's backed with facts, context, and clarity. Charlamagne kept it respectful, but firm. And that's what real commentary looks like. And now we want to hear from you. Was Charlamagne fair, or did he go too far? Was Trump being real, or just pressed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button if you're loving this energy, and don't forget to subscribe. Because here at Duku, we're not just watching the story, we're part of the conversation. See you in the next one.